Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books. Doing a tag today, as you know from the fucking title. The book recommendations tag. This is, I think, originally by Steph Bover. Apologies if I am mispronouncing your last name. I will have her video linked down below. There are 20 questions, and I have most of my answers out, and several of them are the same, so I'm so sorry. I just feel like doing a tag today. I don't know. And I just couldn't think of a different one to do. And I saw this one several people doing kind of recently. So I was like, hey, let me do that. So, recommendations, the questions. Question 1. A book you tell people is your favorite. City of Girls, I think, for sure. Like, if I had to pick a single favorite book of my life, there's a few that, like, I'm like, but probably City of Girls. I would have to go with that one. A book that is your guilty pleasure that I'm in my head, I'm thinking of all of these as like that I would recommend, right? So a book that's my guilty pleasure that I would recommend, obviously any kind of recommendation, it's gonna depend on the person, and like if someone hates fucking fantasy, I'm not gonna recommend them fantasy. But if it's someone who's like, I kind of read everything, Throne of Glass, I think that series, that's like a guilty pleasure series for me, I think. And I just say guilty pleasure, I don't think anything is really like you like it or you don't, it's fine, who cares? But like, as far as those kinds of things that you like, I know maybe quality-wise, it's not the best. And flaw-wise, there are several. There are things that could be better, for sure. But I have fun with it, and I really like it. I would say that. A book everyone loved, but you didn't, again, that I would recommend. Down Among the Sticks and Bones. That whole series, I mean, I stopped at that book because I just was like, I don't care. Like, I really didn't like it. I really didn't like it. And most people love it. It just was so fucking on the nose, in your face with the thematic stuff where I was like, this is unnecessary. It doesn't need to be this fucking in your face. And it drove me crazy. A book that you read the fastest that I would recommend, The Prisoner of Heaven by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I don't know how fast I read it the first time, back in 2013, but this time, when I reread it, I read it in a day, which is fucking wild for me. You guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I'm not exactly the fastest reader. Like, my average, I think, is probably like 7 to 10 days to finish most books that are at least 300 pages. And this one is it's about 300 pages, just under. So for me to finish it in one fucking day, crazy talk. A book that deserves more hype that I would recommend, obviously I would recommend it if I think it deserves more hype, but The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, this series in general, it's weird to me that it doesn't get more attention on adult fantasy booktube. I don't understand. It's so good. And Tasha Suri's writing is so good. She is one of the only 2 auto-buy authors I currently have on my auto-buy authors list. And it's just, the world is so cool. The politics, like, I don't get why more people don't give it a shot. This one, number 6, is a book that is becoming a movie or TV show that I would recommend. I don't know. Because I read mostly fantasy, and I can't think of any that I know of that are getting made into something like coming up that hasn't already come out, other than Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I don't fucking recommend it because of, it's not like I think it's a bad book, okay? The choice, though, of following Snow and being in Snow's POV, and he is a narcissistic abuser, I didn't love it. I thought, and everyone argues like that, you're not supposed to like him. Yeah, no shit, I'm not supposed to like him. Duh. And he's not portrayed as like a redeemable character ever. It's very much a story of like, this guy sucked from the get-go because he's just a terrible person, because he's a narcissistic abuser. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't think that Suzanne Collins made him the POV because she was trying to be like, look, he's good. No, obviously, I don't think that. But man, it was triggering. It was very much legit triggering. And I just think we could have gotten the same point of Snow sucked from the beginning by having it from Sejanus's point of view. I think having it from Sejanus's point of view, we still could have seen a lot of Snow. He was next to him all the time. He was there with him all the time. And I think we could have gotten the same fucking point. but from a much more enjoyable POV and a more compelling POV. And I think it could have been an even more compelling story. I don't think it was all that compelling of a story. I'm so sorry. I'm getting off on a fucking tangent. Anyways, my point is, I wouldn't recommend that book necessarily, so I can't really go with that one. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Number 7, a book that you reread the most that you would recommend. I mean, City of Girls, again. And speaking of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, though, the Hunger Games trilogy. I've reread that many times and will reread it many more times in my life, and it holds up, man. It holds up. Young adult dystopian fantasy that is top tier. Top tier. I don't know why I haven't been grabbing the books. Sorry. But number 8, a book from a genre you don't typically read that you would recommend. Nutshell by Ian McEwan. I read a decent amount of Ian McEwan. I've read 4 or 5 Ian McEwan books and enjoyed most of them. There's one that I DNF'd that I was like, what the fuck? This one I gave 5 stars, and it's like absurdist literary fiction. It's from the POV of a fetus. And the mom is having an affair and plotting to kill the husband with her lover. And the fetus can hear all of this. And the fetus is like a little, I don't know, middle-aged, wizened, kind of pessimistic man in his I don't know, POV, like his thoughts and stuff, his perception of things. It's so absurdist. It's so silly, but it cracked me the fuck up and it was a time. It was a time. So I would recommend this. Number 9, a book that deserves all the hype it gets that I'd recommend. Jade City by Fonda Lee. This series as a whole. I think it's really great. Well, yeah, it's like contemporary fantasy where it's like a modernized world, fictional version of our world. It's not like our planet Earth, but like it's like planet Earth. And like lower fantasy, I would say for sure. But really great. Deserves the hype. A book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. Again, depends on the person and what they're into. So I will say City of Girls is one for people who read general fiction or historical fiction or things like that. And then Age of Myth would be the one I go to for fantasy, for sure. Love it. Number 11, a book that has your favorite characters. Favorite character, I mean, some of the side characters are great as well, but Solace by Gail Carriger, Alexia Terabati is just my queen. I love her. Number 12, a book you wish you could live in. This one's weird because, I mean, fantasy, most fantasy worlds, like, I don't think we would want to live in them. And this world also, I mean, it's our world, but it's a fictionalized version of our world, historical fiction. But it's very bleak, it's very dark, it's very fucked up. So it's like I wouldn't really want to live in it, but I want to live in these books. Like they're so, oh my God. Cemetery of Forgotten Books series by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Like I just love it. I just love it. Again, I don't think I would actually want to like be transported to that time in this version of it, but at the same time, it's so captivating. 13 is a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving, and I don't have one for this. I don't know. I don't pick up books that I assume I'm gonna hate. Like there's definitely some books that are like, will I like it? It's intriguing, but I could see myself maybe not loving it depending on how it goes. And most of the time I'm right though, is the thing. Most of the time I'm correct from memory. I'm trying to like think of any that I kind of went into like that I got surprised. Nothing is coming to mind, so I'm gonna skip that one. 14, a book that made you cry. Dear Martin, I always say that one. That one made me full on sob. I mean, also down here, I'll Give You the Sun. That made me tear up a little bit. Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios. I don't own a copy of it yet, but that one made me several times have to stop reading for a minute and like kind of get myself together. Triggering. But like in a good way. It was a book that like made me feel seen. 15, a book you wish you could read for the first time. I mean, any of my favorites, but I think The Hunger Games, I think that would be really cool to reread that for the first time. Like that would be awesome because that first time I was engrossed and I like the plot twists and shit and the epic moments, the fucking we burn, you burn with us. Oh my God, I was so hyped. I still get hyped reading it now, but like that first time, oh God. 16 is a book that could cure a reading slump that you'd recommend. And I will go with any of the Lady Hardcastle mysteries. They're, like, I was just talking about this one in my recent wrap up, and like, the mystery isn't usually the most like, oh my God. They're cozy historical mysteries. Sometimes I can kind of predict parts of it at least, if not the whole thing. And they're not the most like groundbreaking, but like they're not trying to be. They're fun, cozy historical mysteries. And they're so funny. They're so fucking funny. Oh my God. I love the humor. So these are great for me in that regard of like a little pick-me-up in between more in-depth things or more complex things. I know any of these are going to be a fun little romp in the countryside with Lady Hardcastle and Flo. And I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to chuckle, and I'm going to have a fun time. So, and I definitely recommend this. 17, a book you wish everyone, or you think everyone needs to read. I mean, this, I'm thinking like, you know, nonfiction stuff. There's so many that I think would be great for people to read. The New Jim Crow is always good. I think The Color of Law was very good in that regard. The Future We Choose, about climate change. That's a good one that people could read, and it's pretty quick too. Fiction-wise, I don't know, that everyone should read? I don't know, maybe The Hunger Games. I keep saying The Hunger Games for everything. 18, a book you think would make an amazing movie? 100%, I'll Give You the Sun. Like, I think this would be so great as a movie. They made The Sky Is Everywhere into a movie, and I thought it was pretty dang good too. And like making I'll Give You the Sun into a movie like that, I think it would be amazing. 19, a book you wish everyone would give a shot even if it's out of their comfort zone. Oof, okay, I want to say City of Girls with that, but if people hate it, it upsets me. So, like, if people tell me that they never read historical, they hate World War II era historical, they hate the older woman telling her life story, I'm like, don't read it then. Don't. Just stay away. Just stay the fuck away. Please. So, I don't know. Maybe, like, Age of Myth and, like, the series, but it's like I want people to read at least the first 2 books. Not necessarily, like, half the series, but, like, read the first 2 books, even if you don't know if you're going to like it, because I bet you fucking will. And then 20, a book you will never forget. City of Girls, The Hunger Games, Cemetery of Forgotten Books series, wherever I put it. Those would be, I think, my, like, favorites. I mean, this series too, Legend of the First Empire, as well. But those ones just, like, impacted me on a deeper level, I guess. Definitely City of Girls and the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series, like, for sure. But The Hunger Games too. Like, I will never forget, like I said, reading those for the first time. And there we have it. That's the tag. I feel like I used a lot of the same ones. It's fine. Let me know if you have read any of these same ones that I talked about, and if you agree and think they're good recommendations or not, what some of your answers would be to some of these. You can leave a little emoji if you just want to say hello. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.